And we want to take you now to Illinois. We understand that Governor J.B. Pritzker is speaking about how the storm has impacted his state. There was an Amazon facility there. At least one fatality has been reported. My apologies, at least 2 people were killed at the site.
Arkansas through Tennessee.
We're working on currently. At approximately 8:35 p.m. last night, the National Weather Service confirmed an EF3 tornado approaching from the west, touchdown at 3077 Gateway Commerce Center Drive East. This caused significant damage to a large portion of the building. About 6 minutes afterwards, the 1st Edwardsville Fire Unit arrived on scene and found approximately 150 yards of the building that had been collapsed. We received multiple reports of people injured, trapped, and deceased. We contacted mutual aid fire departments from surrounding communities to assist with search and recovery efforts, along with EMS and technical rescue teams. In addition to our law enforcement partners from the Edwardsville Police worked to provide perimeter security and were assisted via mutual aid by area police departments as well as Illinois State Police. At the same time, Madison County Coroner's Office worked in conjunction with the City of Pontoon Beach to stand up a reunification center. This was about 2 miles from the incident, and they effected 45 reunifications with people who were in the building and their families. Earlier this afternoon, the response portion of this incident came to a close, and we're now focused solely on recovery. Through our efforts so far, we identified 45 personnel who made it out of the building safely, 1 who had to be airlifted to a regional hospital for treatment, and 6 fatalities. We're continuing to search the site for evidence of life and will continue recovery operations until all personnel are accounted for. At this time, estimates are the recovery portion of the incident will take about 3 more days. After today, we're going to move to 10-hour operational periods from 7 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. Basically daylight hours. We'll continue to search. After that, we don't want to put our personnel at risk. It's expected that Madison County will apply for disaster declaration. We'd like to thank all the members of the community for their outpouring of support. We've received numerous donations of water, Gatorade, and food. But we'd ask that if you're considering donating or helping out with this effort, that you go through one of our established volunteer partners, the American Red Cross or Salvation Army. This way we can ensure that those efforts are appropriately directed. At this time, I'd like to specifically thank the technical rescue teams from St. Louis City, St. Louis County, St. Clair County, and Madison County, along with Ameren Electric, Ameren Gas, and donations of heavy equipment from local construction firms. Also, our regional mutual aid, fire, EMS, and police departments who helped out immensely. We ask you keep the families and loved ones of all those affected by this in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Art Rizvi, and I'm the mayor of Edwardsville. Last night we had a tragic weather event that assumed to be multiple tornadoes that devastated our Amazon facility. There were fatalities. Today, I'm asking you for your thoughts and prayers for the victims and their families, not only in our city and state, but also remembering those in Kentucky, Mississippi, Arkansas, Missouri, and Tennessee who are all suffering a great loss tonight. I want to thank Governor Pritzker for offering immediate response for disaster and recovery efforts. In addition, I want to thank all of our state and local officials for offering tremendous support, many which are here tonight. Most importantly, I want to thank all of our first responders, our policemen, our firemen, our public services employees who have been working tirelessly for over 20 hours to keep our residents safe. I've been getting many phone calls asking what to do. I can reiterate what Chief said. If you'd like to deliver food and water, we're recommending the Red Cross or the Salvation Army. I can say the most important thing that you can do is pray for the victims and their families. Now I'd like to introduce Governor Pritzker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good evening to all of you. I'm here at the Madison County Public Safety Building in Edwardsville with the Illinois Homeland Security Advisor and Director of the Illinois Emergency Management Agency, our Brigadier General Alicia Tate-Nadeau, and additional statewide and local IEMA personnel. We are joined by Edwardsville, of course, Mayor Art Rizvi, whose leadership has been so important in these last 20 hours, Senator Rochelle Crow, Representative Katie Stewart, Representative Amy Ellick, County Board Chair Kurt Prenzler, Incident Commander you met just moments ago, Fire Chief Whiteford, and local officials from Madison County and Edwardsville Fire and Police Command staff. Thank you to all of you for the work that you've been doing. I really am tremendously grateful to our state and local teams who are on the ground here through the night working to save lives. Last night, severe storms swept through central Illinois and Metro East with a tornado touching down in Madison, Cass, Moultrie, Shelby, Coles, and Fayette counties. Amidst these conditions, the Edwardsville community experienced great tragedy. The structural collapse of an Amazon warehouse with workers inside. It brings me great sorrow to confirm that at this time 6 individuals have lost their lives in the collapse, with an additional person receiving medical treatment. Search and recovery operations are ongoing. This is a tragic day in Illinois history, and I would like for a moment to speak directly to the families whose loved ones lost their lives in this disaster. There are no words to assuage the pain of losing a loved one, and even fewer when that cost and that loss comes so suddenly. Everyone assumes that they'll be safe at work. Families say goodbye in a routine fashion when their loved ones go off to their jobs. We don't think that they'll never come home. It's devastating, and I cannot imagine the pain that you are feeling at this moment. Please know that the people of Illinois stand with you. We are one Illinois. In this moment, and in the days, months, and years to come, you are not alone. We will stand with you to help you through your grief and then to honor your loved ones. May their memory be a blessing. I want to recognize the tremendous overnight efforts of local emergency responders here in Edwardsville, who moved quickly to assess the situation, locate those who were missing, and save lives. So many have been engaged in assisting in these efforts, including St. Clair County and St. Louis City, St. Louis County, Madison County Emergency Management, Madison County Sheriff's Department, Pontoon Beach Police Department, Illinois State Police, Mitchell Fire Department, Alton Fire Department, Hamel Fire Department, Madison Fire Department, Glen Carbon Fire Department, and numerous other police, fire, EMS agencies, and machinery experts. All our neighbors working to respond to this devastation, demonstrating that especially when tragedy strikes, we are one in our response. Earlier today, I spoke with President Biden and with FEMA Director Criswell to make sure that federal officials are coordinating with our Illinois Emergency Management Agency. The President offered to assist with whatever we may need to recover. In addition, Senator Tammy Duckworth has been monitoring the situation and will help us get whatever federal relief is necessary. I also spoke with Amazon earlier today and implored them to provide every assistance to this community, which they have said they intend to do. IEMA continues to work directly with local officials to actively monitor storms and their impacts throughout the state, especially in central Illinois. That includes coordinating with utility companies to ensure that power is restored as soon as possible to Illinoisans who lost it. Approximately 50% of those who lost power had it restored by 7 a.m. today. And utilities are working around the clock to bring that to 100% restored as fast as possible. This storm system hit many other communities, and we are in communication with all of them to help meet their needs. At this time, no additional region has requested resources from IEMA, though we stand ready to assist. I am deeply thankful that at this time there are no additional injuries or deaths reported due to these storms. To anyone who experienced damage to your home or your business, we will pursue all available resources to help you recover. Our IEMA teams on the ground have been in constant communication with local jurisdictions to support the emergency response by whatever means necessary, and will continue to do so. My administration is committed to standing with Edwardsville in every aspect of the immediate recovery, as well as on the road to rebuild as a community. You are not alone. Finally, I would like to ask every Illinoisan in every corner of this state to take a moment to offer a prayer for the Edwardsville and Pontoon Beach communities, and especially for the families who are grieving today, as well as for all Americans who have suffered at the hands of this weekend's storms. This is a difficult end to a difficult year. Unfortunately, the people of this state have been asked too many times over the last few years to persevere during difficult times. But time and again, Illinoisans find a way to do just that, lifting each other up. And on nights like last night, literally offering a hand to their neighbors trapped in the wreckage. We should remember during this holiday season that even during the worst of days, Illinoisans find ways to show the best of themselves. During a time when much is made of what divides us, that gives me hope. I pray it does for you too. Thank you. And I'm happy to take any questions, and of course the leaders locally too.
Governor, when you talk to Amazon, did they talk about the fact that they took employees to a safe place? Was there anywhere where employees could go to get shelter?
We did not talk specifics about where the movement of employees were, but as I said, I implored them to stand up for this community, to make sure that the families get whatever they need in this community, and they've offered to do so. Yes, sir.
Can you tell us how many workers are estimated to be unaccountable right now?
I'd like to leave that to the incident commander. Maybe you'd like to step up.
I'm sorry, the question was?
Do you have any idea how many workers are unaccountable?
We do not. For numerous reasons, the warehouse doesn't have a specific count of how many employees were in the building at the time that the storm hit. So we're unable to determine how many may be missing still.
What can you tell us about the 6 fatalities, Denver, and that day?
We're not prepared to release any information like that at this time.
Can you clarify, please, if this is a search and rescue or if this is a search and recovery effort?
So at this point, we have transitioned to search and recovery. We don't expect that anyone could be surviving at this point.
Did Amazon get the emergency alert, and when did they alert their employees that the situation was ongoing?
I can't speak to that. That's internal policy for them and not something that we've discussed.
Did you ask someone from Amazon to come here today?
I'm sorry?
Did you ask someone from Amazon to come here today?
No.
Did they offer to send anyone?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Can you tell us why a company that can track packages all over the world can't tell us how many employees were in the building?
There's several different reasons. So there was a shift change going on. It's my understanding. They have vans that come in and they drop off the vans, and then people get in their cars and leave. So as this shift change was going on, the number of people in the building was varying. So that's part of it. They have part-time workers as well. So.
Can you tell us, was this spot a fulfillment center where they actually loaded the packages onto the vans? What was happening at this specific building?
That's correct. This is a facility where they divide up the orders into routes that they're going to take, load them into the vans, and then the vans leave from there to go do the deliveries to homes and businesses.
Can you describe what the scene is like out there?
When did they start and how long did they go on, and are they still happening now?
So the scene out there, there's about 150 yards of the building that were impacted by the tornado. The walls on both sides of the building collapsed inward. The roof of the building collapsed downward. So most of the weight of the building landed centrally into the building. These walls are made out of 11-inch thick concrete, and they're about 40 feet tall. So a lot of weight when that came down.
Can you say people were sheltering in one spot?
One moment, please.
Can you tell us more about the search efforts? When did they start last night? Did they continue all day? And are they continuing at this hour?
So the call came in about 8:35 last night. We had our first units on scene about 6 minutes later, and we started search and recovery immediately. We had some police officers that helped pull people from the rubble, along with some of the workers from Amazon that got initial people out. After that, it became a little more technical. We had some concerns about safety of our workers because the building was still charged with electrical at that time, in addition to water that was leaking. The mains had broken, so water was pouring into the building. And then we also had gas leaking from natural gas. So lots of hazards that were going on, in addition to things hanging overhead from partially collapsed roofs. And we had to move very slowly and methodically to make sure that we weren't injuring any of our workers.
Are those efforts completed for today?
They will be wrapping up here about now. We're working daylight hours moving forward.
Chief, from what I understand, this facility and these routes were owned by a third-party Amazon distributor. Have you spoken with that third party that owns the routes and the buildings there?
No, I haven't.
Can you speak to if people were sheltering in one spot or they found throughout the building?
We found 2 locations, basically, where we had victims so far.
Was there a designated?
We're not done yet, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there a designated shelter in there? Anything even required by the county or city?
I can't speak to that.
Do you know anything about workers allegedly being trapped in the basement still?
No. To my knowledge, there's no basement in the facility.
Chief, what do you say to families or loved ones and friends who are still trying to get in touch with someone who worked at the facility? That need to
Yeah.
open. So what, and as far as hope, what did you tell those families? Some of them have had no sleep.
Mike, you have details on the reunification center?
So Pontoon Beach is graciously assisted throughout this, and the Madison County Coroner's Office, and then we've set up a reunification center there. It's still ongoing. They've anyone that might be missing a loved one, they can reach out to the Edwardsville Police Department, and we can provide them with information to respond to that center. Again, we would ask. It's an ongoing process. We understand that if their loved one's missing, our hearts go out to them. Part of our first responders, we got to make sure it's a safe environment in order to get them in there. So, but they'll be able to respond there, and we have chaplains there along with coroner's office to try to get further information from them at that time to figure out if their loved one actually was at that center, and how to go about identifying where they're at and make sure that we can resolve that issue for them.
Do we have a phone number or address to send people to that reunification center?
Yeah, so the address off for Pontoon Beach I don't have, but I can give you the phone number for our police department, which is 618-656-2131. Again, would ask folks if you're missing a loved one, reach out to our dispatch. If you're looking, again, our dispatch has been inundated with media calls as well as citizens wishing to assist. And we would again ask for anyone wanting to assist to reach out to Red Cross or Salvation Army, and they can get that help better directed, and that'll free up our dispatch center to address these citizens, these families that are looking for someone or other things that they need to do.
I have a question for the governor, please. Who did you speak with at Amazon, and what exactly did you ask them to do?
So one of the leaders in their worldwide operations who covers this territory, and during that phone call, I asked them specifically to help the community recover, to be part of the recovery efforts here, especially for the families who lost loved ones and those who were injured, and to make sure that the community as a whole can recover, and they've offered to do that.
Does that mean financially? And did you ask them to let Amazon workers in other facilities go home today?
I didn't have a specific conversation about the hours of their workers or whether they would be going home today. I can only imagine that most of them are. But no, what we spoke about was the financial assistance and Amazon's presence, being engaged with the community in the recovery effort. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Can you
Yes.
speak briefly about any other damage that Illinois experienced in this event?
We've seen, unfortunately, as I mentioned, tornadoes touch down in a variety of counties throughout central Illinois, really from Metro East all the way across to Decatur and beyond. And, of course, you know that same line of storms headed into Kentucky and did even more damage there, and there was a much greater loss of life. And I have spoken with the governor of Kentucky directly, and of course on the call with the president as well, with the other governors whose states have experienced not only damage but loss of life. But let me just say that throughout the state and central Illinois, that damage is something that we're going to have to address. The loss of life here is the most important immediate thing that we're here for, and of course the people who've been injured. But I think we're going to be recovering from this in central Illinois for really months to come, and the state will be with them.
Do you know about any other deaths outside of this event at the Amazon?
No, none. In fact, none have been reported. No other injuries as well outside have been reported to us.
Do you think Amazon should have a presence here, or should have had a presence here at the press conference?
Oh, I can't speak to that. I know that they are, I mean, again, they have offered their resources, their help in this process. I know that they're involved in that, the providing of that reunification center. And we'll be looking to them to live up to the promises that they've made, which I expect that they will.
All right, thank you, Ron. I do have one last question, actually, if that's okay. Did the state send out phone alerts or anything to residents in the tornado path?
Prior to, are you saying with the National Weather Service warnings? Well, sure, the normal Weather Service warnings were sent out, as you know, not by phone, but throughout the area. And our emergency management agency, of course, is responsible for whenever there is a notification that needs to get out to everyone on their phone. That's who will issue that.
Excellent, thank you.
Yep, thank you.